I appreciate you joining this series of webinars. So the series is devoted to methods of teaching English in multi-level groups of learners. And the first webinar is about and benefits of the process. Um, uh, if you don't know me, here you have concise information. So I'm currently an associate professor at the Department of General Linguistics and Romano-Germanic Philology in Skovoroda-Kharkiv National Pedagogical University. This year, I'm teaching practical English phonetics, methods of teaching the English language and literature, methods of developing English language communicative competence to bachelor students and to students who are earning their master's degree, methodological aspects of distance and blended learning, and methods of teaching the English language and literature to various types, target categories of learners. So if you are interested in these issues and you want to cooperate, you are welcome to contact me. You have my email. Later, I will share my telephone number. So if you want, to become a co-author of some article, or you want to start some project, or you want to create some teaching materials, so I will appreciate that. Well, this series of webinars is conducted in Skovoroda-hab, that is the regional center of blended education, which was founded in our university. If you can, the code you can see on the screen, you will go to our page online. I can also share this page with you 1 second. Mhm. All the events in this hub are free of charge. For some of them, you can even get certificates. There are a lot of topics you may be interested in. So if you are interested, please go and just look what kind of events are conducted in the hub. All the videos are recorded and uploaded on YouTube. And again, I would like to share the link to our YouTube channel. So there you will find all the recorded versions of the events. So the link is in the chat. Well, our today's webinar, the first webinar, we are going to discuss the notion of multi-level group. So it may seem obvious, but actually there are a couple of tricky issues. We are going to consider the benefits of teaching in multi-level groups and the benefits of learning in such groups. And we're also going to consider some challenges of teaching in multi-level groups of learners and even suggest some solutions. And I hope you will cooperate, and you will come up with nice ideas. So what is a multi-level group of learners? In scientific literature, you will find three terms: heterogeneous group, mixed ability group, and multi-level group. The first question I wanted to answer before proceeding with my research was whether these three terms are equal. So whether we can consider them synonyms or not. So heterogeneous, mixed ability, and multi-level group of learners. Let's look at the definition of heterogeneity. It is taken from Cambridge Dictionary. So what is heterogeneity? It is the fact of consisting of parts or things that are very different from each other. And in English corpora, such as English Web 2021, British National Corpus, you will find such collocations as heterogeneous population, heterogeneous network, heterogeneous classroom. So a group of people can be described as heterogeneous if they have different characteristics, so they differ from each other. Or what characteristics can our learners differ in? Here you can find some of them, but not all. So learners in one group may differ in gender, personality, motivation, confidence, world knowledge or background knowledge, interests, cultural background, educational background, intelligence, attitude towards the foreign language they're learning, their mother tongue, their learning style, knowledge of other foreign languages, their age. Yeah, and we can see two more characteristics that are in yellow: language learning ability and language command. So we can make a conclusion. If learners differ in one or many characteristics, yeah, such group of learners can be called heterogeneous. But we see that we have two characteristics that are just examples of those features learners may differ in: language learning ability and language command. So probably we can't consider mixed ability group of learners and multi-level group of learners synonyms. Uh, so, what I mean to say is that heterogeneous group of learners is not equal to mixed ability group of learners. Heterogeneous group of learners, in my opinion, does not equal multi-level group of learners, and mixed ability group and multi-level groups are different terms. Let's look at the definition of language learning aptitude or language learning ability. So, language learning aptitude is considered to be an individual's initial state of readiness and capacity for learning a foreign language, and probable facility in doing so, given the presence of motivation and opportunity. What we should take into account is that aptitude or ability is not language command. There are some learners in our groups who possess a high level of language learning aptitude, but maybe they have never had any opportunity or motivation to learn a foreign language. Conversely, there are learners whose impressive language command is the product of effort rather than their innate ability. Uh, However, language learning ability can predict learning outcomes to some extent. So, the definitions I came up with are as follows: heterogeneous group of learners. We can say that that is an umbrella term. That is a group of learners who may vary in one or more characteristics related to motivation, language command, learning style, gender, language learning ability, and so on and so forth. A mixed ability group of learners is the group of learners who vary in their readiness and capacity for learning a foreign language. And a multi-level group of learners, our webinars deal with multi-level groups. That is a group of learners who vary in their level of language command, um, which can be the result of their aptitude and or other factors. So I would say that multi-level group, that is the narrowest term out of these three. So we are going to take into account only the level of our learners, because that is the feature or that is the factor that we can objectively measure. If we speak about cultural background, educational background, it's not easy to define, it's not easy to identify, with the help of some criteria and so on, but we can define our students' level at least. So, now I want you to interact a bit. I want you to go to menti.com. You can scan the code if you want. You can use the website and type in the code and just answer one question. You will find one question there. Have you ever learned or taught English as a foreign language in a multi-level group of learners? Yes or no? So, and in a minute we will see the results. I have also shared the link. If it is more convenient to use the link, please do. Let us wait for 10 seconds. 1 second and you will see the results. Maybe not all of you, yeah, have answered the question, but still we can see some picture. 75% of you have learned or taught English as a foreign language in a multi-level group of learners, where you may have A2 and B1 in one and the same class, or B1 and B2 in one and the same class. Yeah, and sometimes beginners learn in the same group with pre-intermediate learners. And 25% of you said no. What conclusion we can make here is that most of you faced this situation, and this problem, yeah, needs further exploration and attention. Okay. We came close, yeah, to the benefits of teaching EFL in a multi-level group of learners. What are the benefits? On the one hand, it seems that there are more challenges than benefits, but I would like us to start with the advantages. The major benefit for us teachers is our professional growth. Why? Yeah, because when we deal with multi-level group of students, we increase we develop our creativity. We need to come up with innovative ideas on how to deal with different levels. Yeah, how to create different assessment strategies, and so on and so forth. So we develop our creativity. Teaching in multi-level group of learners enhances our classroom management skills. So we need to manage struggling students. We need to manage our work with more advanced students simultaneously. Yeah, we need to manage disruptive behavior in our classes. What else? So we develop our communication skills because we need to adapt our speech to lower level students. So we use so-called teacher talk. We deepen our language knowledge because if we deal with more advanced students, so we need to know, for example, grammar structures in detail. We improve our assessment skills, so we use different strategies and techniques to fairly and adequately assess everybody's participation and contribution. We develop our flexibility, yeah, because we need again to adapt and provide for all for all levels of students in one class. And finally, I would say that it also gives us a chance to find maybe a better job. Yeah, we have more job opportunities because we become more professional. Well, as for benefits of learning English as a foreign language in a multi-level group. So again, on the one hand, it seems, that learners do not benefit if several levels learn English in one and the same class. But on the other hand, they grow personally. Yeah, their motivation enhances because they look up to their peers who are better at English, and they want to improve. And they also see that the teacher takes care. If the teacher is not indifferent, yeah, it will also increase students' motivation to learn English. It increases students' confidence if the teacher provides them with challenging but still feasible tasks, so they can achieve this situation of success. So if they manage to do the task, their confidence increases. They improve their oral skills, listening and speaking. Why? Because they deal with different levels of students, and they also need to adapt while speaking. Yeah, they need to adapt their speech to lower level students, or when they listen to higher level students, they need to use compensatory skills, guessing from the context, or asking for help, or asking to repeat, and so on and so forth. So they become active listeners. They develop their social skills because they need, yeah, to be tolerant in such groups, in such classes. One more benefit is individualized learning or personalized learning. So the teacher uses, yeah, individual activities for those students who struggle or for gifted learners. That is individualized learning. And students are challenged with, yeah, doing the tasks, focusing on realistic language. So on the language from natural communicative situations. So if we take into account these benefits, we can say that a multi-level group of learners, though, yeah, has a lot of challenges we're going to consider a bit later, but still we can take advantage of this situation. So maybe you can come up with some other benefits of learning EFL in a multi-level group of learners. So if you have ever learned English in such groups, was it useful? As learners, yes? Everything that comes, yeah, to your mind is maybe some difficult situations you should face as teachers, but still. Then the conclusion is that my list is comprehensive. There is nothing to add. Yes, I have done good work. Okay, let's go on then. Challenges. So, no doubt, yeah, that when we work with a multi-level group of learners, just imagine your classes, your groups at university, where you have A2 and B2 in one and the same class. So, what issues do we have to deal with? I would say that the first one, the major one, yeah, is diverse language proficiency levels. So, as a professional, you need to provide for the needs of every single student in your class. But how can you do that if all the levels are different? So you can ask yourself, should I create teaching materials, three different, for example, sets of teaching materials for high level, average level, and lower level students? Or should I modify one and the same activity so that it becomes feasible for and challenging, yes, for every single group in my class? So that is the first challenge, diverse language proficiency levels. And that is the challenge we are going to work on, yeah, so during our next four webinars. Classroom management. I have already mentioned today that in multi-level groups of learners, the discipline can be a problem, especially at school, because fast finishers, yeah, will finish their task. They will have nothing to do. They will start disrupting the discipline, and you will have to deal with that. Struggling students may do the same just because they don't know how to do this task. So that is a huge problem. Demotivation. Uh, do you think only slow learners will get demotivated while learning in such classes, or more advanced students can also lose their motivation? So, which level is this problem connected with mainly? Так, прошу, please, Raisa Fedrim.
Me
Both,
to
yeah?
speak. You want me to speak? Yeah, you know that just when we speak about the motivation, yeah, it's about both fast finishers and slow learners, or able and weaker learners. So we can use another term to define them.
Yeah.
But you know that just how to avoid such challenges, I want to share from my own experience one example. You mentioned that if it is necessary to design three different activities for different levels, yeah. And once I did the following thing, just it was dictation. For able learners, it was just a text. I dictated and they put down what they heard.
Mhm.
Less able learners, just I prepared this text with many gaps in it, and the task was to listen and to fill in the gaps. And for weaker learners, just it was a bit challenging, but the whole text was there. But in brackets, there were words, homophony, for example, hour and hour. Yeah, who's hour and 1 hour, but without
Yeah.
it, or just combination of words.
Yeah.
And this part was the most challenging for me to prepare it,
Mhm.
to think about the words. And then when they listen, just it's about their understanding, if they understand what it is about, and just say circle or underline, and that is all. They write nothing. So it is the way we can work, we can teach
Simultaneously.
multi-level groups. So I think that as for being demotivated, both they can be both demotivated, just fast finishers, just have nothing to do,
Yeah.
and in this case, a teacher should have an activity in the sleeve.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and as for slow ones, or maybe it is worth combining them just to ask fast finishers to help slow learners.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. So actually, you have mentioned some techniques from our next seminars, but it's okay. We're going to share our ideas all together. Yeah, our experience. Thank you for the ideas. It is better to work simultaneously, but sometimes you may actually prepare three different sets of activities for your learners if there is a big gap between the levels. If you work with beginners and, for example, B1 in one and the same class, and in our universities it is possible. Actually, you may have such situations. Thank you for your ideas. Yeah, all the learners can get demotivated. For higher level students, there is a risk of not seeing any progress. So they just feel that they do the same at every single class, and the teacher does not challenge them with some engaging activities, so they may get demotivated. Well, we haven't mentioned language anxiety yet. Language anxiety, is connected with affective factors that become active when you struggle, when you are not confident. Lower level students can feel anxiety, and they will just refuse to speak up at the lesson, they will refuse to do the activity, and it may be connected with the phenomenon of this inferiority complex, so they feel inferior in the class and they just do not want to be laughed at, especially at school. That is a huge problem. So here we need to be psychologists as teachers. The last one is curriculum constraints. Usually, we follow some curriculum. But we can be, they are solutions already, but still. So our institutions, require us to follow some curriculum, and at the end, by the end, of the course, we need our students to achieve some outcomes. How can we do that if we have, for example, 50% of students who are lower level students? So that is a big question. They are just 5 challenges. Maybe you can come up with more. So, diverse language proficiency, demotivation, anxiety, classroom management, curriculum, anything else. Not in the evening, yes? You have had a long day already, but still, you can write in the chat if you want. No. Yeah.
I think maybe it's just such thing as just establishing good rapport. It is
Yeah.
attitude to a teacher can be also the challenger. Just sometimes students don't like their teacher, and they think that this discipline is not interesting and
Yes.
important.
Yeah. So they may have a negative attitude to the teacher, to the textbook, to the language itself, to the institution they are studying in, and it can affect their outcomes. So establishing rapport is of paramount importance. I agree with that. So we should establish positive atmosphere for students to feel safe, and confident to participate. Well, you see a link, since it is a webinar, so you are expected to participate as well. I'm going to share the link to a document, where we can contribute our ideas. So you can all edit this document. 1 second. You can find the link in the chat. So please join me there. What I would like you to do is to think of some solutions we can use when we deal with these challenges. The challenges are the same, so from the presentation, and here we have 3 solutions, but still you can continue the list. So 5 minutes for you to think of at least one solution to every challenge. You can type in the document. So you can continue the list. It can be the 4th, the 5th solution. The most problematic issue is curriculum. What do we need to do with the curriculum? I see just one idea. Actually, you have more ideas than I do in my presentation. Later we're going to check whether, you have mentioned everything. So let's start. We can see a huge list of these ideas, and it took us just a couple of minutes. So you're professionals, you know what to do. I want you to comment on your ideas. So the first challenge is diverse language proficiency. If you typed in the first one, please comment on that. Develop the idea. So to ask stronger students to give a hand to struggling students in learning material. In what way can we organize the process? How can we do that?
So it's my idea, if you don't mind, yes?
Yeah, please.
So now I'm teaching just definitely multi-level group, and I can find A1, B1, B2 students in one group, and it is really challenging for me now. And I ask high flyers just to give their hand to struggling students all the time. And in this way, I think that I can motivate them to be more responsible for their own learning process and for the learning process of their group mates. They're just distributing the responsibilities, I think, mainly in this very context.
Do they refuse to cooperate from time to time? Like, why should I do that? I'm here to learn something, not to teach anyone.
Sometimes it happens, but they are very respected to each other to refuse.
Okay, thank you so much. Then create different tasks. What kind of tasks can we create? Can you provide at least one example? Different variants of one and the same task, or different tasks?
Different variants.
Different variants. As Raisa Fedorivna mentioned, that we can modify one and the same activity to teach several levels.
Or maybe provide different definitions for words. For example, for high level, we can provide just in English, and for low levels, we can provide just translation or something.
Yes, that is right. So we can use different kinds of scaffolding, with different levels of students. To design activities for different levels, basically we have mentioned that to provide the next one, a couple project between a weak student and an advanced student. That's a good idea, but what should we keep in mind when we do so? So that is a peer project, between a weak student and an advanced student. How can we make sure that they participate equally?
It is not my idea, but I think that it is good. Then the first thing we should do is to think about the roles they will play working together. Just if a weaker learner can draw or can do some other things, then at this very stage, this person is responsible for doing these parts of the project. And a more advanced student just makes presentation, and then maybe step by step and that weaker learner will be more motivated and engaged into the process, and it is one of the ways how to help them to not underestimate themselves and just to believe in themselves that they can do that, and start just changing their attitude to the discipline, improving their level of language command and some other things.
Yeah, so high level students will still see that lower level students can do something, can contribute. Yeah, okay. To divide students into small subgroups and give them different tasks in different session halls. Well, how are you going to do that? So you basically divide, one group into several groups, and what about your presence then?
So it was my idea. Nowadays we have such an opportunity to divide them and observe, visit these session halls without being noticed, or just can discuss and observe whether it's discussion, cooperation, collaboration between them, whether it's effective, for example. Does it work, or maybe it's just
Distance education helps us.
Sometimes it helps depending on the subject.
Yeah, it would be hardly possible to do in face-to-face education. You will need at least 1 week room to do so, but session halls help a lot. Okay, classroom management issues. To reduce negative attitude to the subject, the teacher, in what way? So we can continue the list: the subject, the teacher, materials, the language itself. Yeah, how can we do that? Reduce negative attitude.
To make the process interesting and fun.
Yeah.
Just enjoy that.
Uh-huh.
Just to develop creativity.
Yeah.
For example, just maybe you all, those who teach, our university students, that course book Upstream Advanced. I cannot say that it is really very interesting one, but as for idioms, in what way to do that? We work with them, we match the parts, we find equivalence in the language one, and then I ask them to choose one and to draw. No words, only images. They draw, they demonstrate, and the task is to guess. One of the ways how to remember that.
Yeah.
And to be able to use.
They create the materials themselves.
Yeah. And yesterday, or 2 days ago, then they just took photos and they added to the group in Telegram, and everyone can see their drawings. And that's about being professional in drawing. It's about just doing the activity and shifting the focus from doing something serious to something not serious. Funny.
Great idea, because actually it is time saving for the teacher. You do not need to prepare anything. Yeah. Okay. And still the activity is effective.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then sitting arrangements. I would say that it works at school. Yes. So would you like to comment on that? Sitting arrangements.
So I think that it works even at university.
Really?
Because if the teacher can't monitor the seating arrangements, because for students, they typically make friends, yes, with specific people, and they tend to work with them. And you should monitor just the process to just to change the groups or subgroups where this or that student can work together with. Yeah. So, and all the time, just not only for work, yes, but for even for some interaction during the class. Because definitely it's very cozy and comfortable for a student to have a constant partner sitting next to, yes, and to collaborate. So all the time, I think that changes are very, very beneficial in this way, just to change their seating arrangements as well, just to give them opportunities to work with different people within the group or groups.
Yeah, that is regrouping. Yeah. So in this case, they will be much quieter when they work with a person they have never worked with. So you will manage their behavior in this way at university as well. And you develop their social skills. Yeah, not only teach them English, but also develop them personally. That is right. To get people involved. A good idea, but how can we realize that? To get people involved. So to make the process fun, yeah, what else?
I can make a comment. It is not my idea, but I think that you see that we can use such thing as just motivated and engaged. It is one side of a coin. Another side of a coin, engaged but not motivated. Then which one to choose? As for engaged, it's to take part in discussions, in doing activities. But if they are motivated or not, and you know that just it is a problem. So to get people involved, to help them to increase their motivation, not just to take part.
Yeah, because they can be involved, but they do not do their best. If they are motivated, they will do everything they can. Yes. And it will be much more effective. I agree with that. Thank you so much. Demotivation. So the next one is demotivation. We have, I mentioned that already, but still. The first idea is to create a chat for the group where you can write from time to time and provide some additional content for all the levels. So if you have ever done that, if you have ever experienced that as learners, please comment on that. Why do you think it is effective? It may seem just like some additional work to do for the learner. So?
It was not my idea, but with students, it works. It works.
Yes.
They create startup projects and so on and videos because there are a lot of kind of tools that they can use and so on. It works.
Do you provide them with different types of activities or so additional content for all the levels?
No, it can be the same activity, but so in this chat they will have more time to think over just whether to participate or not, and to think over the task and develop the task, not just during this hour while the lesson.
Yeah. This strategy, I would say, would work, because lower level students will have additional time to think. If it is an additional content, then they have enough time to think and do the task. Okay. To use technology, a good idea, but in what way? Yeah. Okay.
This was my idea. I just think that incorporating different appealing contents and visuals on contemporary topics, actual for level these different students, can be effective way to use technology. For example, cartoons or animations can make even complex topics more engaging and understandable for students, and they also can be maybe partially useful for visual learners. So different kind of content, not necessarily cartoons.
And you need to keep up with the changes. Yeah, you will not, or maybe you may not interest your students with just pictures or videos. So you should use this AI technologies. Yeah, you should use augmented reality and so on and so forth. So it's necessary to keep up. Okay, tell students some information about motivation, progress, what and when they can expect. So basically making them aware of the consequences of being demotivated, right? Have you ever tried this and did it work?
I tried that.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Yulia?
Yeah, I told my student that at the beginning they're really high motivated, and in some time they can lose that motivation, and because of the time, because of the effort, and so on. And they just know about that, and I tell them that they don't need to put all effort, all time for learning English, because it will make them demotivated, because they just burnt out immediately, and so they need to learn step by step. They don't need just to dive into English.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Uh, any other comments? Race of
I just wanted to add that when I start teaching a new group, I always ask them to make a list of their expectations.
Then what do you do at the end of the course?
Yeah, I save them, and just at the end of the first semester, just I remind them about their ideas. When I taught offline classes, just I had a pile of papers with their ideas, expectations, yeah, and then at the very end of the course, they can get them back.
Yeah.
And then to analyze, to reflect on the things they dreamt about at the very beginning of our cooperation, and then about their progress at the very end of the course.
Yeah. So two birds with one stone, because you have some ideas, yes, what to work on and how to do that. If they have some expectations, nowadays you need to follow them. Yes. So if you follow some expectations of your students, then it is more likely that they will be engaged and they will, give some positive feedback and so on and so forth. Okay. Thank you. Then,
I would like
please.
I would like to add a little bit about motivation, right? It's very helpful in my case when we arrange with students, when I arrange for them system of prizes. So they are very motivated to achieve some goals because, for example, after, let's say, 10 positive marks, they get a little prize. It can be physical, like some small toy, squishy, maybe sheet of stickers. Sometimes it can be like 5 minutes of free time. Or during the break, a student can choose his favorite friend to sit with. Usually it's prohibited because they talk too much. They just communicate a lot, etc. So it gives them quite big support in studies. They are motivated. Even if one of them start to talk during the lesson, another one just say, "Oh no, stop! Please stop it!" Because I am like 2 steps away from my squishy. I want it now. I want it to get it this week. This is
So it
like my experience.
they work with primary school students, yeah?
Yes, primary school and preschoolers I was working, but it works also with adults, not with squishy, but some motivation, some good marks, maybe, I don't know,
Yes.
Again, maybe chocolate, maybe cookie, something like that.
Once I heard that our students are not dogs, so you should You shouldn't train them with chocolate and so on, but still, that's a good idea. With adults, I would say that if you promise to them that, you can leave 5 minutes earlier if you finish this task, yes.
Same free time, yeah, free time, like
Every time you will not do
something
any
else.
more task and so on. It doesn't cost you anything, yeah, but it motivates our students. Okay, we can bargain here, yeah, at our lessons. The next problem we can we deal with, yes, is language anxiety. So role plays are mentioned, group work projects are mentioned, supportive, friendly, cherishing atmosphere. That is right. So I would like someone to comment on group work and role play. So why do you think it decreases students' anxiety? Group work, role plays. Mhm. Any ideas?
May I please answer? Yeah, I think they feel more relaxed
Yeah.
because we create everyday atmosphere. They imagine they are not in the classroom. They imagine themselves in the shop, in the supermarket, as when they are like with their parents, friends, dear ones. Depends on age, situation. So they feel more relaxed and they can. Um, express them better, themselves better.
They
I
distance
think so.
themselves. Yeah, they distance themselves from the mistakes they make. They are not my mistakes. They are the mistakes of the character I'm currently playing.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. And if we speak about group work, so it's much better for students to work in pairs and in groups because they feel less embarrassed. Yeah. If we compare that to speaking in front of class. Okay, curriculum constraints. Oh, you have some ideas here. More flexible curriculum, adaptation, to change the intensity of the course. So relevant to students' needs, extra activities for both types of learners, high flyers and slow achievers, and design a curriculum that is adaptable and allows students to progress at their own pace. So, please comment on these ideas. So, whether you have ever tried that yourself, or whether you think that is a good idea because, yeah. So, Evelina.
I have a new student, but it's not a group. It's individual There are individual lessons, and we decided on the schedule one lesson per week.
Mhm.
Um, and this student is 41 years old.
Mhm.
She's attending a speaking club with my advice, and it's too hard for her.
Mhm.
She rang me 2 days ago, and she was crying about that it was too hard to communicate. So we decided to change the intensity to meet one more time per week.
Yeah, so you can adapt. If we deal with our standard curricula, so at universities, at schools, um, how to make sure that you simultaneously follow the curriculum, the required one, but you still provide for everybody's needs. To change the intensity, yeah, but what about the results? What about the outcomes? How can you change the intensity if higher level students finish faster and lower level students struggle to do the task? Yulia?
I think maybe high level students might help students to overcome their issues in such task. They might share their experience and answer on the tough questions for the lower students.
So we
I
can
think.
use peer teaching. Yeah, thank you. Then extra activities. So no one prohibits us to complement the curriculum with some other activities. They will still correspond to the topic from the curriculum, but they will be either a bit easier or more difficult for our students. Okay. And the last issue, limited resources. Webinars, then professional development courses, observation, ideas from colleagues. Okay, professional development again, different sites communicate with colleagues. Do you have anything to comment? Here.
I can share one idea, and maybe Olena Anatolyevna, you also remember that just many years ago, I'm very grateful to Rod Balisa, a trainer of one of the courses I attended, and he shared such idea as to write review task, and at the end of a semester. So it's about professional development, but we can get this experience or just necessary recommendations not only from our colleagues but also from our students. And my story is about that. So I give a task to my students. It can be the end of the first semester or the end of the year, and there is a list of ideas to follow, just points to follow, all of them or some of them. And just I always write, just don't hesitate to write. Imagine that you write an informal letter to me and write about that. And once Ira, I forgot her from your group. She wrote just, it was in her practice, in her life for the first time that the teacher asked students to write about that.
Ira.
Oh, yeah, Garkusha, yeah. Well, and she was surprised, but she did the task. Yeah, and you know that just every time when I read such papers, I realize that something is not good here and there is space for perfection. So I can add something here, change something here. So we speak about teaching learning process, which is mutual, and it means that not only I teach, but my students teach me through such activity. Well, and I think that can be not just typical one, traditional one, but just quite interesting. But a teacher should be ready for getting such a type of paper. You know, just because there is a type, one item, just if you do not like something, write about that. If you just want to give some recommendations, just something to change, and they write about that, and I read that, I take into account, then I add something or just change something. It's also about, can be one more resource.
This term I have tried something new. Some students of mine, so students earning their master's degree are here. I tried middle course feedback. You know, when they give feedback at the end of the course, you can't change anything for them. Yes, already. So the course is finished, and you can think how to improve the course for the next year students. But if you ask them to give some feedback, so when you finish just the half of the course, the first half, then you can still take into account their wishes, recommendations, and so on and so forth. So you can still take into account their wants and likes. I suppose it works too, because in this case, if you do this at school, at university, when your students are conscious, and they can do it then you can change the course for the better. You can motivate them to study, yes, because they see that you really care, and you do. Thanks. You can keep the link, so it will be active. Here we have a bank of ideas how to deal with these 6 challenges of multi-level group of learners. If you want, you can add to the list. It will be appreciated. So I will close the access. So I stop sharing, and we will continue our presentation. 1 second. So I suppose that you have come up with more ideas than I managed to do. So just look, I want you to look through the list, yeah? Maybe we haven't mentioned something yet. So diverse language proficiency levels. We have mentioned peer teaching or peer help to help their peers. Yeah, it's very effective if you work with future teachers. A variety of assessment methods to evaluate individual progress accurately. We haven't mentioned assessment yet. It will be our fifth webinar. Offer tiered assignments, so different levels of complexity. We have mentioned that, and simultaneously provide different activities for various proficiency levels. We have mentioned that. Classroom management, clear rules and expectations. We haven't mentioned that, but I'm sure that you know that. Yeah, when you just start working in some class or some groups, you need to familiarize your students with so-called politics of the discipline at university, yeah, or some rules they are expected to follow at school. So reward good behavior and achievements. We have mentioned that. Yeah, we have mentioned stickers, some free time, so not giving our students homework and so on. And give attention to disruptive learners separately to avoid disrupting the entire class. Yeah, not to waste time at the lesson. How to deal with demotivation. So captivating, relevant materials, culturally diverse materials. Encourage learners to set personal language goals. Expectations are connected with goals, I would say. So we have mentioned that. And celebrate their achievements. So they also need to reward themselves for some success, achievements while studying English. We haven't mentioned the last one. So what do you think of organizing occasional showcases or events where students can show off, yeah, where they can demonstrate their language skills? Do you think it will enhance their motivation or not? Yeah.
I think it's very important step for developing the level of language skills of students, because you can check how high they get improved during the course, and it's very important
Yeah, so
moment
they see
and
their
method.
progress. Yeah, thank you. They see their progress. Ala?
But I think it depends on students, because there are a lot of students that are very shy, and I guess the task where they need to present something oh my God, to the class, it can demotivate them and they will be very shy.
The idea is to ask them to work in groups. Maybe it can be a good project, and if they are shy, they will not need to present the results, but they will participate. Yeah,
But they can share the ideas. I think they can share the ideas, but the most confident person can tell about these ideas and represent them.
That is right. So they play different roles, while working in groups. Language anxiety. Engage students in fun and low pressure games, activities, peer evaluation and discussions. We haven't mentioned peer evaluation yet, but still it may be helpful. Formative assessment, is important here. So if students evaluate each other's skills before the teacher assesses them, so it will give them one more chance to finish the task well. We have mentioned the atmosphere. As for curriculum constraints, again, as we have mentioned, nobody prohibits us from prohibits us to use additional resources to enrich the curriculum we have. And we can adapt the standard curriculum to cater to different proficiency levels. You see, I have just 2 ideas, and we have more, about 5 on our list. So that was just the introductory webinar to the whole topic. We have mentioned we formulated together the notion of a multi-level group of learners. We mentioned some benefits for both teachers and learners. So now we know that working and learning in multi-level groups can be taken advantage of. We can take the best from this. And we have mentioned some challenges and even come up with a list of different kinds of solutions. I really appreciate your joining the webinar, contributing to our discussion. So you can see my phone number here. You already have my Gmail address. But still, if you want to comment or to contact me, you can phone or text me on Telegram or Viber on any issues you find useful. Thank you so much. I will stop sharing. And we still have some time, actually. We have some time to discuss. If you still have some questions to ask, if you want to share any ideas, you are welcome to do it now.
We are fast finishers.
I see, we are a group of fast finishers, Okay.
I want to thank you for really a very interesting way of presenting methodology or some issues of methodology. I like this way. Okay, and I like interactive events. Because it is, and I imagine myself now a student, Olena, not a student, but Olena.
I was afraid of that, actually, that you would feel so just like you.
No. And is it just really, thank you for organizing such a project and just inviting us. And it's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you a lot. But we're going to meet, next Thursday. Don't forget about that. We continue our series of webinars. The link is so for all 5 webinars. You can find it in your Gmail box, and you can contact me. I will share the link with you. So the link is the same. So thank you for participating, and see you next Thursday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.